Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Face It podcast. Today, I am joined by the lovely Izabella. So, thank you very much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm very excited to talk to you actually because I know you do lots of things, but I will get you to introduce yourself first. So, yeah, if you could just tell us a bit about you and how you got into what you're doing at the moment.
So it started years ago when I was a teenager. I was interested into beauty and nails. And years later, when I was old enough, I had appropriate trainings. In 2015, I moved into the UK. I started to work in a beauty salon. And then 2 years later, I opened my own business. But doing nails and beauty for many years, I just wanted to challenge myself and start doing something new. And then I got into semi-permanent makeup, which I absolutely love. It's very, very wanted now. Loads of people want their eyebrows, lips done. So yeah, here I am now. Long story short.
Oh, no, that's great. I'm wondering what encouraged you then to transition from nails to semi-permanent makeup. Obviously, two completely different things.
Yeah.
What encouraged you to make that transition?
So nails is something I've been doing for plus 10 years, and I just wanted something more responsible, more challenging, but also changing lives to some people. So then I have friends around me who are doing this, and actually one of my friends is a trainer. So I just decided to reach out to her and train with her, and I absolutely loved it. So then I started introducing more and more treatments or different techniques. I also do body tattoos right now as well, like little fine line tattoos. So yeah, I love it because it's art. It's like an art. It's making something, creating something out of nothing. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And as you said, it can change someone's life potentially, and
Yeah.
especially with obviously the semi-permanent makeup, which is always a lovely feeling knowing that we can kind of contribute to something like that. Who would you say your kind of clients are? Like, do you have a certain type of client or is it just kind of anybody?
I have a mixture. I have older ladies and young ladies. Loads of my nail customers became my customers first, which was definitely an easy start for me because I already had a group of people that trust me. But they like lots of different like uh, ethnicities, age. I have all the variety. And I also had some customers with health problems or customers who didn't really needed the eyebrows done, but they just wanted to try. So all sorts, really.
Yeah, and is there a particular treatment that you think that you do the most, that clients come to you for the most?
I think eyebrows, because that was the first thing that I introduced. I started with microblading, which is a hair strokes technique. And then I introduced a different treatment, which is eyebrows as well, but ombre brows. So now I'm able to provide both styles. And that was the first thing I started with. So I think it's like around for the most of the time on my Instagram. Yeah, so eyebrows.
Yeah, I think Instagram always helps, doesn't it, in terms of like promoting ourselves and our business. How are you kind of navigating the Instagram world? Like, do you post a lot, or is there a particular type of content that you like to make and put up on Instagram?
So I try to post as much as I can, although I'm doing nails as well, as I mentioned, like full time. So it's kind of hard sometimes because I'm trying to be on both Instagrams at the same time. But I do advertise myself a lot. My customers advertise me a lot. So even if I won't post anything for a couple of days, I still have that new those new people coming and reaching out to me. But definitely, I have a lot of leaflets, business cards, which I leave everywhere I can. People take them. So I don't have to do much in terms of advertising, but I do like to post some reels to show people what I work, what my workspace is, how do I prepare for the treatment. I have some reels like this, and they are very popular. So I like videos to start with, and I do post some photos. I like a close-up photos so customers can look close and see how it really looks rather than just from the distance. So they maybe feel a bit more introduced to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Reels, I feel like that's the kind of new way to go now, is this video content. I'm wondering, like, what would you suggest to someone who's kind of new into the industry, just starting out their Instagram page or their Facebook business page? What kind of advice would you give them in terms of like finding new clients?
Definitely post a lot, loads of stories. People also like to know little things from your private life. So introduce yourself. Maybe once in a while post what you do. And if you're like planning something new, people like to get excited and wait for something as well. When I didn't have a lot of clients in the very beginning, because it was taking me a little while to also find the space for them, but to get these like new photos coming. I was posting photos of the tools or like little tricks and tips I'm using, like just more in depth about the treatment. People like to know more of like theory as well. They want to know what they're getting. Aftercare posts, all this stuff is interesting to a customer.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's kind of just about giving them a bit of behind the scenes as well, like not
Mm-hmm.
getting to know you a little bit more as their practitioner. And I suppose that makes them feel a bit more comfortable when they feel like they kind of know somebody a bit more.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's definitely helpful that you're kind of incorporating that into your content. I'm wondering if you could just talk us a bit about your space, like what sort of place are you kind of conducting these treatments at the moment?
So I used to be in a like a public place in a salon, but lockdown made me have to resign from the place, and I actually have a cabin behind my house. It's like a wooden log cabin, so I can say I work from home, but not exactly from my house. And it's quite a big space. I have two separate rooms: one for beauty treatments, for semi-permanent makeup, one for nail treatments. So I'm here behind my house. It's all tagged, like the address is official. I'm not hiding in my house. So yeah, I'm based in Dinas Powers, in my garden.
Oh, I love that. And I think that's helpful if people are able to be able to have kind of that space, especially when you're self-employed rather than from a salon and things like that. Um,
Hmm.
it's always very nice to kind of have your own space and make it you, I suppose, and have
Yeah, it just
your
feels
certificates
cozy.
up. I
Oh
can see
yeah, I
in
got
the
the whole wall
background.
of plates.
That's something I wanted to ask you about actually, is kind of the training that you've done in
Mhm.
relation, especially to semi-permanent makeup and tattooing. How did you find your experience was with that type of training?
I had an amazing experience. As well, as I said, my first training was with a person I know, and she's absolutely amazing. So it was an easy start for me because I didn't feel stressed or anxious. I felt continuous support, and I have it until today. And then I just started taking loads of like additional master classes online because I wanted to get to know different techniques and different people's like way of training. So I got about 10 certificates right now from different trainings, either in person or master classes. But I had a very good experience overall, and I just crave for more. And there's more things coming new year, and I'm so excited. So yeah, I definitely recommend trying both ways, in person and online as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think like in person, you can obviously physically see what's happening and what's going on. And there's so many online courses that are really great for just topping up like that knowledge,
Mhm.
viewing and learning new techniques. So I think keeping an eye online for, the new things that are coming up, is really helpful to kind of just keep your knowledge, but also keep your business going because things adapt and change all the time within the aesthetics and beauty business in general. I'm wondering
Yeah.
what your thoughts are on the potential regulations that are maybe or maybe not coming in. We are yet to find out. How would that potentially affect your business and what your the treatments you're offering at the moment?
What regulations do you mean? Having to finish the levels, level two in
Yeah,
beauty? Yeah.
so obviously we heard potentially about this traffic light system about what treatments can be offered by medics and non-medics. I'm
Hmm.
wondering if that kind of relates to your business and how you've kind of thought that it might be affected or it might not.
I don't think it will affect me, although I think it is needed because loads of people offer different treatments, I think they should get more in-depth trainings about certain things. And there's lots of trainings you can just go and pay for and have 2-day training and start working on people. So some of the treatments that are very invasive, I would say, I think they need to be regulated by this, just in case anything happens, because I do know lots of people who have been very unhappy and had some issues after getting treatments done with someone who was qualified but maybe didn't have like enough knowledge after that training. So I think this is something that we need.
Yeah, and I do agree. And something you mentioned earlier, actually, you said about aftercare, and I think that's a big part of it, especially for practitioners who are training. We think we know how to do, I don't know, lip filler, for example, or eyebrows, but what about if something was to go wrong? Do we know how to deal with it? Have we had enough training to feel like we can tell our client what to do, whether they need to come back, how we would kind of deal with that? What is it that you do for aftercare? How do you let your clients know about aftercare?
So I always invite my customers for a free consultation, so they can also listen about the details of the treatment. I tell them about the aftercare. We do a patch test, so they do get like a consultation form, and in the consultation form, it's all written down, like what the aftercare is going to look like. I also talk about it on the consultation. On the day of the treatment, I also mention it again, and I also give them a leaflet, because people sometimes don't listen like really well, or they might forget. So I make sure like 4 times that they know what the aftercare is going to be. And I also offer them like ongoing contact and support in case they were worried about anything or they had any additional questions.
Yeah, I think that really builds trust, actually, being able to know that you can communicate with your practitioner as the client after the appointment's actually ended, and that you're not kind of just abandoned
So
into the
they
big
don't feel
wide
left
world.
alone.
Yeah. Do you feel
Exactly.
that that also helps with being able to get clients to return to you, to actually come back to you?
Yes, yes, because they feel looked after. And I also say, when my customers come to me for treatment, we meet a few weeks later for a top-up appointment. And even after that, I still tell them that if in a couple of weeks they feel like they want to touch up a little bit more, just in case something didn't heal properly, skins are different, you know, they know that they can always contact me that third time. They don't feel like, oh my God, like I'm stuck with something and I don't know whether I should message her or not. They know I'm here, they know where I live, where I work from, so they can always contact me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I suppose then, having clients come back to you, because I understand with semi-permanent makeup, for example, there's a big period of time potentially between when they might come in for their kind of like yearly top up, maybe 2 years if people don't have the time, compared to nails when someone might come in every
Every
week,
month.
2 weeks, once a month.
Mhm.
Yeah. How do you kind of manage the periods in between seeing these clients?
So I do mostly nails. It's literally like slightly over half of my week is just nails. And then I squeeze in between consultations. I work on my days off just for semi-permanent makeup. Because obviously my customers for nails, they pre-book in advance for like next couple of months just to make sure they can like keep going with their nails. So then I just work around it. If I have to come early to work to do somebody's brows, I will. If I have to stay longer, I will. So I just try to squeeze it in whenever possible. Although from the new year, because I'm getting more and more customers now for like loads of different treatments, because it's not only brows now, but also lip blush and also little tattoos. I will try to even this out a little bit more to make more space for all these top ups, for all the consultations and main treatments, and annual top ups, because it's just like so many appointments I'm seeing people for. I'm struggling to find time sometimes, so I'm gonna have to cut down a little bit on the nail appointments.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you've been able to recognize that maybe you are a little bit busy. So
Yeah.
it's good you've been able to kind of identify that and manage it, because we also need to remember to look after ourselves. We get really excited that we have these really busy clinics, which is fantastic. That's all we want. But it can be tiring. It can be really long days. What do you do to kind of, I guess, relax? What do you do to, yeah, chill out after
Unwi-
work?
Yeah, so I got a dog, so I go for walks, but I also meet my friends. I don't have much time to relax either because you know how it is, having your own business, you gotta advertise after work, prepare these posts, I don't know, descriptions, watermarks. It's so busy, but I do try to relax, especially on the weekends, because during the week it's just busy. Going out with friends, going for food. If it's a nice weather, we go for walks. So yeah, little things, or just like a nice long bath. That's all I need.
Yeah, and I suppose it's helpful that I assume, based on how you're speaking, that you love what you do. So it's
Oh,
always good when we're coming to work and we actually enjoy what we're doing. You did mention at the beginning about things that are potentially coming in the new year, maybe new things for your business. I was wondering if you could kind of tell us a bit about that, what you've got coming up for yourself.
so it will be little tattoo related. I'll be expanding this topic a little bit more, but I'm just gonna wait with announcing it because I want it to happen first. Don't know when it will be introduced, but I have something planned for January to go and train a little bit more. Um, I have some people who want to collaborate with me, so we'll see how this goes. And once everything is just like done and official, I will make sure I'm gonna announce it.
Oh, well, it sounds very exciting. I'm excited to find out what it is as well.
Hmm.
In terms of then connecting with people within the industry, is that something that you tend to do, or do you like to kind of just stay in your own lane?
No, I do speak with other people from this industry because it's nice to have little tips from them. We can exchange our experience. I do speak to a couple of ladies from my area, from Cardiff. It's lovely, and I'm really surprised because I previously thought that people want to keep stuff to themselves because they had that training, they paid for that training, and even though I'm trained too, they kind of want to keep it quiet. They don't want to say what did they use or what technique it was, but I actually had a very good experience with everyone I've spoken to, and they've been very helpful. I give them some advices, they give me some advices. So yeah, I'm actually very happy. I had a good experience.
Yeah, oh, well, I'm really glad. And it's always helpful to just kind of share that knowledge and I suppose feel that support if you're ever concerned or maybe something's gone wrong and you're not really sure. It's nice to just be able to message someone and just say, "Oh, I was just wondering what your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts are on this," for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's good to be able to kind of connect to people who are maybe doing something similar to you. Kind of just to round up the podcast then, what would you give as a suggestion to someone starting brand new in the business? They haven't even started training yet, they're just looking. What would you give them as suggestions entering into this kind of world of semi-permanent makeup and tattoos?
First of all, they need to make sure they want to do it because they're interested in that rather than just do it for the money.
Mm.
Because if we don't like something that we do, we're not gonna be willing to train a lot, like after work, or try to expand our skills. So definitely need to make sure that they want to do it because they're interested in that. I would say also do a little research. Like I liked to watch a lot of TikToks or Reels before I even started with my trainings, and I was just like hyping myself up. I was like getting more excited because I was looking at the treatment being done, and I was just wondering, oh, it's gonna be me soon. How is it done? So yeah, I would suggest just trying to see what the industry looks like, what treatments are very popular at the moment. Just do a bit of research in the area where they are at as well to see who's around and what treatments are being provided.
Yeah, well, fantastic advice. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you very much for being on the Face It podcast.
Thank
Did
you
you
so
want to let everybody know where they can find you, both in real life and also online on social media as well?
Yes, so as I said, I'm based in Dinas Powers. My house is pinned on Google. So if somebody types in design, nails, and beauty, I'm based in Dinas Powers, and I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. On Facebook, design, nails, and beauty, and on Instagram, Izabella underscore PMU or Izabella underscore nails underscore Cardiff.
Amazing. Well, thank you again for being on the Face It podcast. We've absolutely loved chatting with you today. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.